Today we are looking at an album. Before I do, just want to say there's going to be some stuff down in the description. If you want to know the channel works, all that good stuff is going to be down in the description. Today we are looking at the album Made by Hawk Nelson, and this is the album cover. I own it on CD. Actually, this was one of the first albums I ever owned on CD. I have to tell you for this review, okay, the nostalgia is going to play a part in my score and in this review because I'm very nostalgic of this album. I had a CD player and I listened to this thing on repeat over and over and over again. One of the first albums, like I said, I ever owned on CD, so there's going to be a bit of a nostalgia boost that's going to positively affect the score. I can't even like suppress that. I have pleasant memories of this album. Hawk Nelson is now a fairly successful, actually pretty significantly successful Christian contemporary music band. But for their first few albums, when these guys started, they were a Christian pop punk band, kind of like Green Day, but like less of the grit. And Green Day isn't even the gritty, isn't far from the grittiest band. But these guys, barely any grit. It was mostly just fun. You know, they'd have loud, like noisy guitar, and they were just Christian pop punk, and it was a weird subgenre, kind of like Relient K, honestly. They were kind of like Relient K. If you're into Christian pop punk, or kind of the less popular side of Christian music, you definitely know who Relient K are. They're very significant. And I would say that their first few albums sounded like this. And then they had a Kickstarter for a new album with this thing. I think this came out in 2012. And this was after like a long break of not doing anything. And then the 2010s, they emerged with this album. And it was a big shift for the band. They went from pop punk to all the punk was gone. They had switched to pop rock, Christian pop rock, Christian contemporary music, where there's plenty of electronic elements, there's plenty of big sounding music, there's plenty of slow music, and, with guitars and drums, but it's also a lot of modern production. It's Christian contemporary music. That they switched from pop punk to Christian contemporary music with this album. Even though by the time this album came out, all the members in the band are adults, it's kind of weird. The lead singer sounds very youthful. He has a very youthful voice, and his energy and his performance on this album is very lively. It's very young sounding. It's very much full of life. His singing and the music also is really full of life and really upbeat. Songs like What I'm Looking For, A Million Miles Away, Elevator, Love Like That, Anyone But You, Outside the Lines, they're full of this youthful, positive, just radiant energy by the singer. And that's kind of surprising because of how they're adults, how the band can sound this youthful and this upbeat and joyous with their vocals and with their music. Some of the songs are a little bit darker and more serious, specifically Through the Fire, which has some pretty hard lyrics about dealing with trials and dealing with pain and suffering, the lyrics, it says, I think it says, God, just keep pulling me through the fire. And it's like the imagery. It's a pretty dark sounding song. And then Fighting For is this like really dramatic, slow song, like a love song. It's also kind of a Christian song and also a love song, and it ties together a bunch of different things, and it's just really dramatic and affecting, which is just like, it's surprising for a Christian contemporary music album. But the emotion, I think it's mostly because of the vocals, but the emotion really resonates with this song and the lyrics, and it just kind of has you like, whoa. Lyrically, this album is definitely a Christian contemporary music album. You're not going to hear a ton of things on this album which are really surprising or really unique for Christian contemporary music. A few things do stand out. A Million Miles Away is about, I used to be like this. I noticed this. It's Amazing Grace. A bunch of Christian contemporary music songs modeled after Amazing Grace. Once I was lost, but now I'm found. That is the premise of so many Christian contemporary music songs, and that is A Million Miles Away. Except A Million Miles Away has this ridiculous, over-the-top lyrics, kind of like Relient K, where there's just really exaggeration in this song with, I'm leaving everything a million miles away, and it's really dramatic and upbeat. You also have Words, which is this really dramatic, like epic sounding song. And Elevator is just a party song. Is literally just a party song. And it's got a rap part by a female rapper. From someone from Group 1 crew who I've heard of but have no idea. There's some Christian party band or whatever. And there's a female rapper. She did, or I don't know if she's a rapper, but there's a female who raps. And like the bridge of this song. And it's cringy. Honestly though, there really isn't a lot on this album which comes across as cringy. Oftentimes Christian contemporary music, especially in this, upbeat pop rock Christian contemporary music, things are kind of cringy, but it just works. The stuff on this album works. The lyrics work very well on a lot of these songs. A lot of the songs are really just fun and upbeat, and they work very well. And like I said, I think the vocals are a big part of why this album is great. It's just, there's so much commitment, there's so much joy and energy and youth behind the vocals. And it just makes the songs so upbeat and fun and enjoyable. And occasionally it can be really dramatic and just, this album just exudes joy and emotion and it's a Christian contemporary music album. It's like, how is that even possible? I think it's the music. I think it's most specifically the best thing is the vocals. And then the music works really well. And the lyrics work well too. Kind of the Reliant K style, like exaggeration, sometimes being goofy. Outside the Lines is the song where he's talking about his advice from his parents, from his mom. And he's like taking the advice to heart and he's singing what my mama told me. And he's like just singing about that. And it's like, it's kind of goofy, but it works. And the vocals, the way the lyrics are communicating, the way the music is communicated with the vocals. And this album just works very well. It's just a really enjoyable, occasionally really dark and sad on Fighting For, really like harrowing and profound on Fighting For and Through the Fire. But this is this album just works very, very well. My only serious flaws with this album would be the songs, like I said, Elevator. Elevator is just kind of... Elevator is just kind of cringy. It's just a party song, and it's not great. Elevator just really isn't great. But, and then the other ones the other song I really don't love is Faithful. It's just kind of generic. It's the only song that really doesn't fully work, I would say. Elevator is just kind of cringy at the rap part. But then Faithful it feels kind of half-hearted. But really, it's the only thing on this Christian contemporary music album that feels half-hearted, which is shocking to say. I mean, Hawk Nelson just has all of this energy, all of this in the music, in the vocals, in the lyrics even. This is an album, this is a feel-great album, occasionally feel really sad album. This is an album that makes you feel. At least for me, and I have to say, nostalgia, I am 100% positive that's playing a huge role in this review. Because these songs, like, specifically make me feel things. And, it's because one of the first albums I ever owned. I'm sure that's a huge part of it. But I really like this album. I really like this album. I'm going to give this thing a 4.25 star rating out of 5. Made by Hawk Nelson. Surprising album. Surprising how good this is. Despite, what it is. I mean, it's a killer, emotional feeling. Makes you feel Christian contemporary music album that I really love. That's really, really fun sometimes and really profound and serious in 2 songs and just, it all just works very well.